Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of VP Wedding Planner Live Hangout. Sorry we're late. But today I'm joined by a very special guest and local celebrity. Comes to us as a member of our company, the One Bride Guide. Everyone, please help me welcome Mr. Nick Bettis. Hola. Please tell everyone about the fabulous self. I'm going to switch the camera on over to you, sir, so everyone can see your full face.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi, guys. My name is Nick Bettis. Oh, am I on? Okay, there we go. Hi, guys. My name is Nick Bettis. I am the new fashion and bridal correspondent for the One Bride Guide. I just turned 20 years old, but for the past 4 years, I have been launching my career as a fashion designer and now a makeup artist as well. So I kind of do a little bit of everything that involves the bridal world. I create bridal gowns, I style bridal gowns, I know how to fit bridal gowns, as well as the bridal makeups. I know everything that has to go with color coordination. And it also kind of plays into my own branding as well. The brand is a bunch of vibrancy. It's a lot of colorful kind of attributions. It's unique as well. And Corpus Christi is kind of the home base for everything. So while I'm here, just kind of doing the most I can for the bridal community as well. And yeah, I kind of do a little bit of everything.
Well, we're so happy to have you as part of our team with VP Planner and the One Bride Guide. You're definitely an asset, and I really appreciate you joining us today, Nick. And because I could really use your expertise on this week's topic, which is celebrity wedding. And what the in the most recent celebrity / royal wedding, the royal wedding of the century. We're talking about Meghan Harry tied the knot 1 month today. It's very fitting that we're gathering about it. And I don't know about you, on May 19th, I woke up freakishly to watch Bufford's finally say I do. Mainly see what celebrities were in attendance and of course gawk at what everybody wants. Big celebration. So I'm going to hear from you. What are your likes?
Well, I think my favorite thing about the wedding was what everyone disliked. I loved the simplicity. I loved the whole layout of the wedding. I love the simple color scheme, which is a lot of whites and greeneries. I love the simplicity of the dress. I wasn't too big on the hair and the makeup, but we'll break that down in a little bit. But overall, the style choice was beautiful. Both of the gowns, the first one, a custom Givenchy. The second one, a custom, what do I have written? I believe, yeah, Carolina Herrera. It was custom. Actually, it was a collection piece. I believe it was made in a white, if I'm correct. I absolutely loved the style choice for both of the gowns. I thought they were both classic, a little bit more traditional, but still very modern at the same time, which is actually pretty hard to do in a bridal look. Surprisingly, it's one of those things that it's either a big hit or it's a big miss. For those who don't know, I actually worked in the bridal industry for about 2 years as a bridal sales representative. So that was always one thing that brides really wanted to achieve, was that whole classic look. So I think Meghan kind of knocked it out of the park with it. The jewelry was beautiful. I love the little simple bracelets that she chose. I wasn't too big on the veil placement. I would have done more of the modern placement myself, but I wasn't the stylist. Probably could have saved a few bucks by hiring me instead. I wasn't a big fan of the makeup, especially for what it was worth. I believe she spent about $13,000.
You're kidding.
Yeah, she spent about $13,000 on hair and makeup.
I had no clue, and honestly, I will agree with you on that. I don't know what I was expecting, but I feel I wanted more than that.
Yes. Well, it's kind of crazy because reports say that she didn't want to kind of upstage Kate Middleton, so she did kind of tone down the whole look itself. But I think if the look is toned down, it kind of gives you a little bit more playroom with hair and makeup. And, you know, Meghan, she is infamous for her glowy, perfected skin. I think for $13,000, it kind of looked like she'd thrown some BB cream and some eyelash curler. I expect a little bit more. I wanted maybe like a little gloss here and there, but maybe that's just not her style. But
you're not the only one. You're not the only one. Yeah. That was the common consensus among everyone. You were expecting a little bit more glam with the makeup.
un poquito, you know, and then with the hair, it was kind of like that messy low bun, which I get it. It looks great on brides. I'm here for the messy low bun. I'm here for the messy pony. But I think with the veil placement, it just looked kind of thrown together a little bit. She could have easily just slicked everything back and then let the veil and the headpiece do the talking. But I just couldn't get past the fact that it was a messy hairdo. There was hair falling out. And I get the look, but whenever you put a crown on top of a messy hairdo, it kind of just looks like a little girl playing dress up. And it's not in the sense of, you know, bashing the style. It was beautiful. I just think, you know, if you're going to do the bun with that kind of headpiece, keep it slick so it's not kind of contrasting from anything. Or bring the veil lower, you know, let the hair have its moment.
I agree, because when I got up at an insane hour, I think I was so excited. I got around and I put on my personal tiara, and I feel like I pulled off my
Yeah. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, it was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. To me, also, I would have probably chosen a different veil. I know that sometimes some brides do the simple dress and then they want the statement piece veil. But whenever simplicity is the look that you're going for, less is more. I wasn't really a big fan of the lace applique trim. I thought it kind of clashed with the crepe fabric a little bit. Because of the coarse fabric, I would have just kept it plain and simple. Let the tiara do the talking. But I mean, it was a pretty look though. I'm not hating it. It's just like what I would have done from my personal styling experience. But other than that, I mean, it was a beautiful look. The second dress. Let's talk about that.
Go.
Obsessed.
I felt like that dress should have been
the dress.
The dress. Exactly. It was gorgeous.
It fit her. It fit her like a glove. It was form-fitting, but it wasn't tight, which is always something that you have to hit perfectly. If it's too tight, it doesn't look like it's fitting properly. If it's too loose, it doesn't look like it's fitted properly either. So she had it right where it needed to be fit. It was perfectly to her body. I'm not really a fan of halters, but surprisingly, I loved it on her. And I think because it did have a low back, so I was here for it. I love the crepes. I think it kind of made the dress kind of cohesive with the dress as well. I'm a fan of that. You know, if you're having two dresses, keep the fabrics cohesive. It just looks beautiful in photos. Looks beautiful throughout the whole wedding.
That's a good point. It's a very good point. A lot of brides will do polar opposite styles. Sometimes fabric aesthetic is not always pleasing.
With the exception of jumpsuits. With the exception of jumpsuits. But and honestly, like, even the styling was perfect. It went back to the whole bracelets. That was mainly her biggest thing, were the bracelets. I believe she wore Diana's earrings that day as well. And they weren't too crazy either. They were just a little statement piece. And then that's whenever I think the messy bun really kind of played it, you know, along with the whole dress look as well. I mean, it was a cute look. I really, really enjoyed the second piece. The little exit in their car. Prince Harry looked like a gem, as always. But that's pretty much my only likes and dislikes. I mean, I really didn't dislike anything about the wedding itself.
How did you feel about the bridal party being made up of small children, of little ones? What are your thoughts on that?
I thought that was precious. I really, really did. Just because I know Kate, I know a lot of the attention kind of went towards Pippa during her wedding. So I think to kind of, you know, keep the wedding a little bit more refined. It wasn't as extravagant as, you know, of course, William and Kate's wedding, by all means. But I think kind of having the kid as a little focal point, I think it was beautiful for photos. It was beautiful to look back on in history. It didn't take away from Megan, because at the end of the day, she really didn't have a big party in general. I mean, all she had there as family was her mom. So I think it made it a little bit more intimate for, you know, her, Harry, her mom, just the people who were really, really focused around it.
Yeah.
And it was cute.
I loved it. I really did.
That's what I would do, honestly. I really, really would do that. I think it was precious.
Well, every second of that was really beautiful and very well put out. Yeah, I've been there in person. I loved watching the celebrities walk through. The moment that Oprah arrived and she was the first one, I was just, Oprah's here. She's our queen.
Fun fact, They remade that dress that she wore the night before.
Really?
Whenever she got it, it was in white. And she was like, no, this isn't the color that I want. And like, what, do you want us to dye it? She's like, no, remake it. It doesn't fit either. And they were like, well, we have one day. And she's like, so you can make it in a day. Yeah.
That's why Oprah is queen.
Yes, ma'am. That's why Oprah is queen. We also have Elton John, James Corden, Serena Williams. That was an awesome guest to see. George and Amal Clooney. Amal, as always, looking stunning. Her wedding gown was literally.
I think the kind of stole the show a little.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
They were stunning. That color.
Oh my goodness. And then Victoria and Dave. Yeah. Goodness.
The Beckham.
Apparently, his exes were at the wedding too.
Interesting.
How about that? My exes aren't even allowed in the same city as me.
Now, how do you feel about that? Because we've had questions like that in the past with past brides in the past. You know, is it okay to invite the ex, or should I put a stop to it with the groom inviting his ex to our wedding?
I think it's appropriate depending on the relationship that he has with his ex. Obviously, whenever you're having a wedding, you're inviting people who have been a part of your life to a wedding. And a lot of times, sometimes relationships end on bad terms. Sometimes relationships, they just weren't meant to be, but they end on good terms. Because I have exes who I ended terms with on a good note. And, now we're friends, we're cordial with one another. And I wouldn't mind living in my wedding because it's like, this is what you missed. But no, on a more proper note though, I'm a Southern belle by heart. I've always been taught to be polite, be cordial to others, and I don't know. You don't have to do it, but I'm just like that. I probably would invite them.
Yes. And you're right, just to oh, puppy.
Sorry, too needy.
What element from the wedding most brides realistically afford, in your opinion?
Honestly, I think it goes back to the whole as an ex-bride salesperson and now as a current bridal designer. I think the dresses were actually something a bride can easily afford, and not in the sense of the exact dress, because I have here my sources from CNN said that both dresses cost about $270,000.
Yes, that's correct.
But
the man hours it took to build the first dress was insane. It was over 500 hours, if I'm not mistaken, working on that dress to make it look seamless, which in fact it had when you see. So.
Yeah. And but the thing is that those dresses were great. Those dresses were simple A-lines. Right now, the whole bridal trend is simplicity. I think brides are stepping away from the heavy laces, from the ball gowns are in though, but not the crazy ball gowns. But they're stepping away from those more traditional gowns and kind of going towards the more simple look. Especially the millennial bride, she's kind of just focused on her. She's kind of focused on her silhouette. So with that being said, over the past couple of years, I have seen dresses many a time that look almost like a dupe of Meghan Markle's. And a lot of them under $1,000 just because of the fabric itself. Crepe is a very inexpensive fabric. It has a beautiful drape to it. It has a beautiful weight to it as well. Versus an intricate lace, which of course they're often handmade and they're often costing hundreds of dollars a yard. So it's cheaper to make, it's cheaper to manufacture. A lot of bridal designers offer those kind of styles to brides, especially fitted. Sometimes halter is a little bit harder to find because it's not as much the popular neckline anymore in the bridal world. But it doesn't mean that it's impossible. But I think the dress, yeah, so that's my point. The dress, you can always find a dupe for under $1,500 to $1,000. What else did I kind of write down? Flowers, you can kind of do your own little dupes just by, the way how the color schemes are arranged. I saw a lot of roses, and I believe there was a lot of roses, and what else were there?
There was a lot of beautiful greenery that they had in there, different textures of greenery, some that we're seeing more so in those beautiful bouquets that are a little bit more Indian side.
Yeah.
But, it's gorgeous, and I think that whole greenery theme and trend is going to continue on for the next couple of years, because you can have it standing alone, or you can have those little elements of those white roses, red roses, or a little pop of color in there. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I actually said that last year. Was like, I always have these little bridal predictions, and then I feel like they happen, but that's just me. I'm not too mad. But I have been saying that I think brides are going to step away from the extravagant bouquets and stick to more earthy, natural greenery kind of vibes. And whenever I saw that Macon kind of pulled it off, especially in the big archway, it was beautiful. And a lot of times, you know, a lot of the decorators often have those greenery walls to kind of do like a little dupe of the whole Kim K kind of flower wall kind of thing. So it's definitely something that they can work out with the decorator, you know, just having something affordable, something that isn't real, so that are costing an arm and a leg, and creating the, like, kind of like an illusion for the bride.
Yes. One of the things that I'm here with my bride, they're focused on the entertainment aspect of their wedding because they want to provide a fun environment for the reception for their guests.
Yeah.
And a lot of them love to dance, and they like the idea of bringing in different bands, different DJs, but also bringing that element to the ceremony. So with Megan and Harry, I love that they had that beautiful choir that they feel like excellent. And I think it's a beautiful touch, and it's definitely something that our clients can do and can afford. One of the tips that I think, if you are, going to church, you're affiliated with that church, you can request to have their for you. Or if you're requesting another facility, another church that maybe you're not affiliated with, a simple donation would probably come and contribute at your wedding. So those are fun little things that really for event special and unique, like something that I don't think anyone had ever seen.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And also, I saw that apparently Ed Sheeran performed at the wedding.
Oh my God.
Apparently. Nothing was confirmed, but it was rumored. Of course, there was no footage of any of the wedding.
I know, it was killing me.
Driving me crazy. But I think, for that same vibe, that would also give you the kind of opportunity to work with local talent, maybe acoustic performers, to kind of get that vibe. If the wedding is effortless, if the wedding is kind of relaxed, a lot of greenery, might as well just fit it into play with the music, maybe during the dinner hour.
Yeah.
Because, of course, our culture in Texas, we like to dance. So that's whenever they hire a DJ or a banda. But I think, like, to fit that theme, I think the bridal industry is going to start kind of fading away from the crazy kind of music scene and kind of slowly bringing up the more refined, the acoustic, the more sophisticated look, just because maybe kind of made it a trend now.
Yeah, I have one bride that I'm working with currently, and her wedding's in January. They've decided that they want someone to play during the ceremony. So as she's walking down the aisle, she's going to have a person on the saxophone playing, and then inside, and I think before then she it was like, okay, we can do some fun stuff. Yeah. And then the ceremony or the reception side, they'll have another that'll be, and then they'll have a young man acoustically during cocktail hours. So they're bringing all kinds of different music. And local, and some people that are a little further away from the Corpus Christi area, but it's definitely going to play with her guests, and I know they're going to absolutely love it. It's unique to any other wedding that I've ever been. So.
Yeah, and I've always said I want a live violinist at my wedding. So.
There you go.
I've always wanted an orchestra at my wedding, but I'm a fan of theatrics, and I think it's something that some brides are limited to. Oh, hello, can you see me?
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. There's a little thing that just popped up. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Sorry about that. I think it's one of those things that they feel limited, but I think like they just need to kind of make like the little extra effort to kind of go on the hunt, because as soon as they find it, it's golden. Especially we have college kids who just want to kind of get out there a little bit more. Maybe they have an orchestra that they go to school. Like you said, local choirs. Just think local. At the end of the day, if you're wanting live music, you don't have to go out of your way to find talent. Especially people who are kind of just wanting the experience as well. It never hurts to give them a try.
Now, what was just way too expensive at this wedding, in your opinion, that you would have to put a loan out for in order to produce at your wedding?
Well, for one, the wedding cost $40.1 million.
So the whole thing.
So I'd have to win a couple of lotteries, marry a rich man, and then some.
Yes.
But I mean, to me, you know, you don't have to spend an arm and a leg on the dress, especially one like that. The venue cost $498,000 to rent out.
My goodness.
And of course, venues, depending on the look, that is one thing that you will have to spend a good little penny on, especially according to the theme. If you want a nice, luxurious place, you're not going to spend $2,000 for one night. So that's definitely one thing. The cake was $70,000. Shop local, and you don't have to spend that much, and it's probably just as beautiful. We have some amazing artists in Corpus Christi and the whole South Texas area. Let's see what else. The flowers were $150,000.
I'm getting heart palpitations.
I don't know. I have plants around my whole entire house. I go to Lowe's. I go on sale. I make sure that I have my plants under $10, but that's just me. But I mean, I know for a fact that local party decorators have those new flower walls because Kim and Connie kind of made it a big trend. Because of that trend, it's been a demand in the bridal industry. So with that being said, it is easy to kind of get the whole illusion of it without having to spend the price of it. The hair and makeup shouldn't cost you $13,000. Your hair artist is going to be anywhere from $100 to $200. Your makeup artist is going to be anywhere from $60 to $150, depending on your artist and their kits and their experience. I think the main thing though is going to be the venue.
Yes, the venue is always going to be the most expensive, I think, anytime you're planning your event, because a lot of times they have those packages where it's all inclusive, so it may seem like a whole lot of money, but once you break it down, you know, you're paying X amount of dollars for food and X amount of dollars for the bar, and maybe they have a preferred vendor list. So yeah, that's probably the most expensive. I definitely think this wedding could be duplicated for less money.
Yes.
So you're not breaking the bank.
Yeah. And I think it also goes into play that the biggest cost for this wedding was security. They spent about, I believe it was about $800,000 just on security. Just on security.
Yeah,
so that was
South Texas brides don't need that, I don't think.
Yeah, they have like 2 cops on shift and they're good. But there were about 100,000 people in attendee outside. So if you're royal, I get it. If you want to be royal, you don't have to spend that much.
Yeah.
But I think it's all about getting the look of it. And sometimes, you know, brides feel like you do have to spend an arm and a leg to be glamorous. Not always the case. If you give the illusion of glamour, it's just the same. Definitely shop local though. Explore. Have an open mind whenever looking for ideas, whenever looking for just the whole vibe of the wedding. Shop local because you do not have to travel away from home to find what you want.
Yeah, we have plenty of wonderful vendors right in our backyard. So yeah, shop local. I'm always about shopping local. You're going to find some of the best people here in South Texas and right in the Corpus Christi area.
And if you want a Meghan Markle dress exactly the way it is, I live in Corpus Christi, Texas, girl. I do it all. There ain't no one dress that I can't do, girl.
Yes, everybody. Last question for you, my love. Was the wedding even on trend in your opinion?
100%.
Okay, yes.
100%. To me, it goes back to the bridal world is evolving, along with the fashion world, along with the woman. To me, the modern bride has become more dynamic. She wants to be comfortable. She wants to be able to be having fun, dancing, putting her hands in her pockets, because now we need dresses with pockets.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
By the way, all my bridal, if it's a ball gown, they have pockets. That's my biggest thing. I'm real big on bridal pockets. I have to do that. But no, the bride has become more dynamic, so the wedding needs to be a little more dynamic. It goes back to the whole millennial bride. She's a little bit more simple. She wants romance versus detail, which isn't a bad thing. I think with Meghan, it was romantic, and it wasn't taken away from the fact that it's 2 people coming together. So now if you look in bridal catalogs, the biggest trend is simple silhouettes such as You know, of course, Fit and Flare is A-lines with simple fabrics such as satins that aren't too shiny. Crepe fabrics, taffeta is really, really big right now.
Taffeta.
Taffeta is huge right now in the bridal industry.
Glad it came back.
Yeah, I'm really glad. It has a beautiful shape. It has a beautiful structure to it. It has movement. It has body.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I love taffeta. What was I going to say? Oh, they're also kind of stepping away from that crazy detail that you see on My Gypsy Wedding. We're kind of going away from, you know, corsets. We're keeping it to more crisp lines in the back, you know, nice zippers, lower backs.
Yeah.
We're eliminating heavier laces and, like I said, bringing in simple fabrics. There's a little bit of balance, and there's a balance between modesty and sex appeal that I'm really here for in bridal gowns. It's probably going to be really high in the front and really low in the back, or it's really low in the front and it's really covered in the back with sleeves, you know. So there's a new balance that I'm seeing. Sorry, my dogs are playing.
Okay.
Another big thing, bows. Simple bows are huge right now. But yeah, that just goes into play of what's trending in bridal, and that's why I think that Megan kind of hit the mark exactly, because yes, her first gown was conservative, but it had the little off-the-shoulder moment, you know? And for so long, women were told to cover their shoulders, and why? I don't know. And then for the second gown, high in the neckline, low in the back, fitted, simple fabrics. And to me, I've also been saying that brides are going to start stepping away from the heavier updos and going more simple with the hair. So, like I said, like I went back to, I don't mind the simple bun. I loved it. Not with the veil. But I loved it. And to me, I love the simple makeup. I think, like I said, right now, we need to start kind of having that focus on bridal makeup that looks great in photos. Because a lot of times brides get their makeup heavy done and then they look back in 40 years and like, what was I wearing? Why did I do that? Oh, because it was on trend.
Let me ask you, how do you feel about airbrush makeup? And I'll tell you why I asked. Airbrush makeup for brides.
I'm not a fan of it.
Okay.
I'm really not, just because sometimes in photos it can look a little bit choppy. Your makeup artist should be able to make sure that you look like skin. And also, you don't always need to have foundations on depending on your skin type. I feel as if sometimes brides, excuse me, sometimes brides feel as if they have to take on the makeup, and sometimes if you don't need the coverage, don't add it, because it's just going to look worse in photos. Because I've worked with plenty bridal models who all they need is just some concealer, some highlighter, a little mascara, something on the lid, and something on the lips, and it looks beautiful in photos. So you really do.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you really do just have to consult with your makeup artist. So I mean, some brides prefer the airbrush effect. I, as a makeup artist, don't. I will go towards a stipple brush any day, because I believe it creates a more natural finish. And also just looks more luminous as well. But go ahead.
I asked because I was in a wedding that was outdoors beginning of July. So I think it was July 3rd. This was several years ago. And it was hot. It was so hot. Sweat running down our legs, our arms. But Stacey told us that she did airbrush, and she did it well. And I know exactly what you're talking about. You know, it can look choppy if the person doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But it came out really well in photos. We did have to dab some sweat away.
Yes. Oh, that's normal.
Our makeup moves. And so I always want to ask, I want to always hear from the professionals to see what they prefer. But I understand.
Yeah, and I think it's like I said, it's a preference for everybody. I mean, sometimes, to me, my biggest focus as a makeup artist is skin. So I would just want to make sure that the skin looks perfect, because then everything else kind of balances out as well. Some brides want the airbrush effect, and it's totally a preference. Just make sure that you kind of, do a trial with your makeup artist. Make sure that it wears out throughout the day. I would advise to get your trial done early in the morning, wear it out throughout the whole day, wash it off at 11, and see how it wears out, because ultimately, you're going to be getting ready early in the day. That's the reality of the bridal little get ready moment. Just have a trial. If you don't like the artist, play the fields a little bit, see what you like, because at the end of the day, the makeup is what's going to be in photos for the rest of your life.
True.
But yeah, that's why I think that's why I love Megan's makeup in a really weird way. I mean, I don't think it was worth, X amount of thousands, but I liked it. It looked like skin.
Well, Guys, now it's time for your questions. So each week, I encourage our viewers to submit questions about wedding planning woes and challenges. Questions do not have to pertain to this week's topic, and if you can't make our live chat, your questions can be submitted ahead of time. We have a few questions this week. Nick, will you do me the honor and help me to answer some of the questions we have?
Yes, I will.
Great, let's get to it. Question number 1. Oh, this is definitely. I have a very large bust. What dresses should I avoid altogether?
That's a really good question. According to your silhouette, I'm a firm believer that no dress is wrong for you, with, though, the exception of the fact that it has to fit. I was a big kind of little, how can I put it? I was real big on fit. To me, the gown can be as detailed as possible, but if it fits, it looks great. Sometimes, though, whenever brides are wearing the correct undergarments or the correct size, it makes the bust area look a little bit constricting. It makes it look, or else it's too big. No matter what size you are, sometimes it's either too constricting, too big. So if you have a bigger bust, what I would recommend is something with a higher sweetheart neckline, so that way it does shape to your bust line as necessary. Or if you would like, halters are amazing because what it does, it actually supports a little bit because there's some tension right here. Whenever that's pulled, this is pulled. So it's an actual little natural little push-up bra. Boat necklines are great. They're great if you want to be modest, but still, not be strapless at the same time. They're absolutely classic as well. They never go out of style. But if you want to be a little bit more conscientious about the neckline, stay away from low plunging ones, stay away from wraparound halters. If you're going to do a halter, make sure it's the one that goes up here and not the wraparound, because that tends to kind of sometimes pop out a little bit. But it's totally a preference, like I said, at the end of the day. Also make sure, though, that you're wearing the correct undergarments. I promise you, that will change your whole entire life.
Yes.
If you don't plan on wearing a bra, plan on feeling uncomfortable.
I feel like a broken record because I often will say that during chats, especially when we're talking about wedding dress fittings or just what your wedding dress in general. You need to go with the proper undergarment because you're going to be very, very uncomfortable when you're trying on a dress, and then later on you go in for your second fitting and you're using another bra or another undergarment. And it doesn't fit the same way. And it's because you're using something different from the first time. So yeah, I agree.
Well, it's also, we would have brides who came into the shop and, their dress is finally in, but they didn't purchase their undergarments and they're kind of upset, why is my gown not fitting? Why is my skirt not as poofy as it was before? And it's ultimately because you didn't have your undergarments. Then we put on the undergarments and it fits like a glove. So if you're planning on getting alterations, if you're planning on your dress fitting the same way as it did in an actual fitting, you need to have whatever you had whenever you first tried on that piece. So, and if you're not planning on wearing, let's say a corset, get cups inserted into the dress. It will save you a lifetime of struggle, I promise you. You'll feel secure, you'll feel supported, you'll feel as if the dress is fitting better. They can even add push-up cups to the dress if you want a little bit of a boost. And you can always wear your own little kind of spank if need be, depending on the silhouette itself. I always love some kind of shapewear. But yeah, so back to that. Necklines, I recommend shaped sweethearts. These kind of the halters that come right here, not wrap around, and boat necklines.
Love it. Okay. Question number 2. What do I need to take to my bridal photo session? This, honestly, if you watched last week, I know I'm a little insane when it comes to the items that I keep in my purse for my emergency kit, but we definitely touched on what you should be putting in your emergency kit. And I think it's pretty much the same thing that you should then take with you to your bridal photo session. So this might be like a little trial run for you brides. If you have an emergency kit, extra, again, we want everything to be small travel size items because you don't need a massive bottle of hairspray. So you have someone that's coming in and doing your hair beforehand, or you go meet with someone and have them do your hair. But you're getting those little travel size items for touch-up. So, you want your hairspray. You want to make sure that you have maybe some nice little Evian spray to keep you nice and cool, especially if you're going to be outdoors, which a lot of you brides, I know you are. You do your sessions outside. So yeah, so any little thing you would take in your emergency kit, take with you to your bridal photo session. Anything else you want to add to that, Nick?
Bridal tape or dress tape, that double-sided tape.
So that was something that we mentioned last week. It's something that I purchased years ago over at Steinmart, believe it or not. And I mean, it came with a bunch of different sizes, but that stuff is a lifesaver.
Well, I do runways for a living whenever I'm not designing. So bra tape, safety pins, some kind of powder puff can save a life. Coat, and you ready for the biggest?
Yes.
Eyelash glue and tweezers.
Yes.
That is like a necessity that you need to have, even as like a regular person who wear lashes. That is literally like my ride or die. And then also I always recommend for my brides is ultimately you're going to be doing your makeup in the morning, but throughout the day your makeup's going to kind of smear off. Take a little inexpensive lip gloss or some kind of lip balm, something to kind of touch up with throughout the wedding. You don't need to have that lipstick on the whole night, but ultimately you do want a little bit of pigment on your lip for photos. But some kind of lip balm or lip gloss is perfect too.
Yeah. I agree. One thing that I didn't add last week, ladies, and I do apologize, I forgot to mention that you need to have some water handy in your little emergency kits for your bridal photo sessions too, because you're going to be posing and doing all kinds of things. Some of the dresses that you guys have are going to be a little bit heavier than others. So stay hydrated. That's important. And always have a little snack with you too. So have a little energy bar that you take, because we don't want you guys to get hangry and be upset and pissed off in all your photos. So just remember that. Last question. What are some trends that I should be looking out for? This is definitely a Nick question.
What are some what? I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit.
Okay. What are some wedding dress trends that I should be looking for?
Cool. So right now, the biggest trend in bridal is bows. And I keep stressing it. And, I said it last year. I was like, bows are going to be in. Everyone's like, no, that's so 80s. That's not going to be in. But right now, fashion is kind of repeating some trends from the 80s. There's a lot of ruffle. There's a lot of texture. There's a lot of oversized sleeves and whatnot. Right now, though, it's the simple fabrics, taffeta, crepes, satins. We're kind of stepping away from the heavier laces, leaning more towards the lace appliques. Off-the-shoulder sleeves are super in right now. Plunging necklines, super in right now. Simple ball gowns, meaning in the sense of kind of ball gowns that you can accessorize yourself, so almost like blank canvas pieces that you can add your own belt to. Simple veils, so plain pencil edge tulle veils are super in right now. They're not really going to be going anywhere for a while. But a big trend regarding the silhouette of it right now is fit and flare. With super light fabrics, think very beachy, think very garden wedding, because that's kind of the whole trend of bridal right now. Me as a designer, my bridal has been a little bit more on the crazier side, but just because I dress the woman who wants to be a little bit extra, and but it's still on trend. But for those women who want the simple pieces, if you're looking for that kind of direction, stick to crepes, stick to lightweight satins and silks. Even bridal slip dresses are in. For those who like to wear those little slip dresses, like the denim jackets and stuff like that, they actually make bridal slip dresses, and they're super pretty. They don't even have a zipper. You just throw them on. They have a little train, have a little bit of a flower crown moment, and you're good to go.
So there's a lot of options for just about every bride, isn't there?
Yeah, there really is. And it also goes back to, if the bride does want to be a little bit more on the avant-garde side or want to be a little bit more extravagant, you can still keep simplicity in it, depending on the color scheme, the details. Color, by the way, Vera Wang is coming out with black ball gowns for brides. So
beautiful.
We finally have options other than black, white, and ivory, white, and blush. So I definitely think don't be afraid to kind of play with color a little bit more. It goes back to the whole the millennial bride is modern. She's open-minded. She's conventional. So be open to color. Have fun with it. It's your wedding day. You can break the mold a little bit if you want to. There are no rules to it. But yeah, that's the whole trend of bridal right now. It's dynamic.
Hashtag be a bold bride.
Yeah.
That's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining Nick and I today. And Nick, thank you for being my South Texas celebrity guest. I appreciate it. And I hope you can do this again real soon.
Oh, girl, I'm here all the time.
If you, the viewers, have any questions you need answered, please message me after the Hangout on VP Wedding Planner Facebook page, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Like what you see, for more live chats, tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. to hangoutwithsammy.com. That's SAMMIE, hangoutwithsammy.com. For past Hangouts, visit vpweddingplanner.com, our one-stop wedding planner website that provides full access to previous Hangouts, like where to find the best outdoor venues in town. You'll also find our famous budget calculator and our Taskmaster checklist, plus a complete directory of every wedding vendor you ever need in South Texas. That's right, wedding vendors right in your own backyard. So VP Wedding Planner really does make planning your wedding a piece of cake. Thanks again, and I'll see you all next Tuesday. Bye, everybody.